Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in this AFK journey video, I'm going to run through the updated teams for my seasonal Dream Realm Necrodrakon runs for my 3 different accounts. So I'll be using my free-to-play global account Zeebo to showcase the first team, which is probably the easiest and the most accessible team for most people because I went for the most mainstream meta units. Second account will be the free-to-play PTR account where I have a lot more unit investments even as a free-to-play player, so I have more units to play around. And the third account will be from my main account, which I have a lot of the meta units invested, so I'll be showcasing the best teams that I'm running to get maximum damage on the account as well. So without further ado, I'll start with the very first account, which is Zeebo, as you guys can see over here. So this is Zeebo, very neglected in terms of progression because I just didn't have a lot of time to focus on progressing this account. For Necrodrakon itself, I'm currently at common 2 difficulty for the seasonal Dream Realm, and my average unit level is around 151, as you guys can see over here. So for this account per se, I'm not going to run through the Necrodrakon skill, because I'm pretty sure if you have been playing the game for quite a while, you should know what Necrodrakon does. There's also a very detailed guide for Necrodrakon called the Z-Best Guide for Necrodrakon, where I talk about the skill set of this boss. I talk about the most meta team in the original Dream Realm. So if you guys are interested in that, you guys can refer to that video for the original Dream Realm run for Necrodrakon, right? The best recommended team. However, just a disclaimer, the teams that I'll be running today, or the teams that I'll be showing today, actually takes a lot of inspiration from that meta team as well because of the mechanics of Necrodrakon. So without further ado, let's go into Zeebo's team. So for Zeebo's, right, this is the team that I run. So for this account, it's more invested in terms of the Mauler side of things because we have OD, we have Coco, we have Smokey, highly invested, and we have Torrent, highly invested as well for normal story progression as a free-to-play player. So the carry of choice, right, instead of OD, I chose Merrily because Merrily receives less debuff from the boss's third ability or the last ability, which is the crest debuff, because this crest not only reduces energy gain but also reduces attack. So if you use OD, who is a relatively immobile carry, this unit is gonna do a lot less damage, even though OD is a lot better in seasonal Dream Realm. But specifically for Necrodrakon, I think Merrily would still be the better carry of choice. So the support lineup, I run Smokey as well as Coco, so they are my most invested supports on this account, so I run them. And I have Reina as the support for this one. So some of you guys might be asking me, hey Zip, I don't see Reina in some of your other Dream Realm teams, why is Reina used here? So usually I don't run Reina for the other teams because my Reina is not at Mythic Plus, it's only at Legend Plus, right, as you guys can see over here. So I do not have my EX weapon, neither do I have the Supreme Plus skill. So the damage boost of Reina comes in this part as well as this part. So if let's say you have a chance to use Reina at M+, you will always use Reina at M+. But before M+, Reina is not a must for all the different bosses because he only offers a heal before he unlocks this part of the skill, even though he has an attack buff on your ally. So in certain bosses, I will still run Reina on my free-to-play account, even though he's underdeveloped. So for this boss specifically, I'm running him because I'm using him to heal my Merrily up, as you guys can see. So the tank of choice is Torrent, so Torrent is amazing. I don't need to explain too much. I'm linking Coco to Torrent so that Coco can survive a little bit longer. You could also put Smokey to Torrent as well. It doesn't really matter that much because at the end of the day, you're protecting one of the 2 supports, which is just there to keep your Merrily alive for as long as possible to output as much damage as possible. So without further ado, let's start the battle. Okay. So artifact of choice is obviously the Starshot spell because at this point this account only has light heal spell unlocked. Like I mentioned, not a lot of effort have been put into clearing contents, so the best artifact of this account right now for bossing would still be Starshot spell. In fact, for the next account, which is the PTR free-to-play account, where even if I have a lot of unit collection, Starshot spell is still the best artifact, so you guys will see later on. So for this one, as you guys see, I think for the Mauler support duo over here. Their job is just to keep Merrily alive until they pass away. As you guys can see, they're starting to lose HP because they are very immobile, so they will be actually struck by the puddles of the boss really easily, and then they will actually lose a lot of HP. But at least they managed to last until the 60+% mark, which is pretty good damage. So my pick with this team is about 350 million, so there will be quite a little bit of RNG here. But this is my best team for Zeebo, which is the free-to-play $0 account from the global server side. Okay, so this is the damage output, so merely 220 million. Okay, my best damage with this team is around 335, so pretty close there, right? That was pretty close. This boss have a really high RNG. So with that, let us move on to the next team setup. Okay, so now we are at my second account, which is my free-to-play PTR account with more unit selection, even as a free-to-play player. So this applies for people who will be in the game for a long while and you eventually get my teams moving forward. So for this one, I'm currently at difficult for Necrodrakon. My max damage is 1.5 bill, and as I move into the battle page, I actually tried quite a few combinations with this boss because in this account I have more choices and I have pretty mobile units. I even have Reese build up, so I can definitely try to run the Mauler team. I will showcase probably two variants in terms of the Mauler side as well as the Light Bearer side, so that you guys can see the power of Reese in this boss itself. So for this boss, right, I took out Kruger. This was the meta team in the original season. The reason why Kruger got taken out is because this unit did get a pretty decent seasonal skill, which buffs his own haste for each ultimate cast. However, against this boss, right, there will be a period of time where once you stay in the battle for too long as Kruger, you won't be able to cast your ultimate, so you actually lose the effectiveness of this skill after a period of time. And the increase in haste is just an increase in damage for Kruger, which is not that important because his role was to debuff the boss anyway. So for this boss specifically, Kruger is replaced slightly, at least in the early to mid stage of the game, and he's replaced by none other than Torrent. So that's why you guys saw this arrangement, because Torrent right now has a bunch of debuffs, right, from the seasonal skill to the second skill. And some of you guys might be wondering, why are you running Torrent together with Reyna? But if you take a look at my Reyna now is only at Mythic, so I'm super duper close to the Mythic Plus skill. So once I have it, maybe the team comp will change once again. But for now, this is the best setup because Reyna is there to provide the heal for Merrily. Then we have Torrent linking to Tamasia to protect Tamasia, because my Tamasias are not very high ranked, even though she's a tank, but I think she needs a little bit of protection. And Tamasia is actually pretty decent against Dream Realm bosses now because of the seasonal skill as well. Then we have Corinne for additional shield and additional damage, and I'm using Star Shard spell for the best damage to survival ratio. So with that, let's start this battle. Okay, so for this account specifically, I'll also showcase the Mauler side of things, because for Mauler they actually have two mobile units, which are Elsa as well as Reese. So for the Mauler side of things, if you have a lot of this Mauler invested, I could obviously showcase the run. And for Reese, I think obviously you'll use Kruger because of the physical defense debuff, and then I'll run Torrent to sort of protect either Reese or Elsa from dying, and maybe the last unit will probably be Reyna for the additional heals itself. So I'll showcase the teams later. Okay, so Torrent's protecting Tamasia to a certain extent. Heal from Reyna is keeping Merrily healthy, and because she's not like hit by the debuff because of her mobility, she can survive pretty well even though she's not linked to Torrent. So you guys can see this team doing really well. So I think the idea against Necrodrakon is just being mobile. So any other class or any other units which are not mobile that stays on the spot for too long is just not optimal for this boss. So this is the final damage calculation. Okay, so this is the final damage. Okay, Merrily a lot stronger on this account, as you guys can see. So with that, right, let's go into the Mauler side of things, because this account I do have a Reese over here. So I'll be linking, I guess I'll probably be linking Reese with I think maybe I'll use Reyna to transport no, I'll link Reese to Torrent, and then I will be linking let Elsa be sent in by the Who, because she will be running a lot. Like, she will be in front of the phase, boss phase for a lot, and then maybe the last unit will probably be somebody who is a little bit more mobile. I'm thinking actually to run Smokey, even though he's not mobile, because Smokey just provides so much for the team in the back line and enough sustain to keep my team running at least for as long as possible. So I think this will be the run. Let's start the battle. Okay, so I'm putting Smokey at the side because Elsa might stay at where she is right now, or yeah, okay, so she ran back, so she will stay within the cloud of Smokey. So one thing that is not so good about Elsa is that the position of Elsa can be really random. Sometimes she could be in this spot, sometimes she could be on the right hand side, which means that she will fall outside of Smokey's aroma cloud, which is pretty unfortunate. But as you guys can see, right, both Reese as well as Elsa, they're not debuffed by the boss because they will always be moving away from their original position. Unfortunately for Elsa's case, right, because for her now, she's not like threatened in terms of damage. So she's standing on the spot and she got debuffed, unfortunately, and then she died from there. But at least Reese is doing heavy damage against the boss, which is really good here. Okay, so you guys can see the damage is pretty close as well, to be really honest. It's not close as in as good as Marilee's team, but considering that my Marilee was way more invested and I was using like more optimal units against the boss, this damage range for the Mauler side of things is pretty good. Okay, so this is the damage distribution, as you guys can see. So Elsa did quite a fair bit of damage against the boss as well, because she's able to spam her ultimate quite a lot, and she's able to move around when she's threatened with her combat stance ability. So that's for the Mauler side of things. Next, let's review my meta team setup for the early mid game for Necrodrakon right now. So we are at the final team, which is the meta team setup for this boss. This is my main account, and we are currently at the epic tier, which is very close to the end. I think it's epic, hell, and then endless. So once we reach the end game, I'll probably do an updated guide for that as well. So for Necrodrakon right here, I'm able to do 10 billion damage, so 1000 million over here. Best team setup is the full light bearer side, so I think these 4 units needs no introduction. The last unit that is replacing Kruger or the Torrent side is Lucius, because Lucius is really good for the Dream Realm itself right now, and with Lucius as well as 4 other units for the factional bonus, I'm getting a 5 unit bonus. There's quite a bit of stats, and on top of that, right, I'm able to further buff up my stats with the quick blitz spell, which provides a ton of attack, crit, as well as physical and magical defense, while offering the physical defense down, which fits into the physical damage team pretty well. So Marilee is actually a physical attacker before she activates her true damage side in the EX weapon skill. So overall, this is the very heavily statted team, because I aim to survive for as long as possible to jam in as much damage before I die. So let's start the battle and I'll showcase the damage run. So Lucius, I'm not gonna talk too much because I already praise him a lot in all my videos. If you haven't seen my other videos with regards to the biggest winners or the Dream Realm tier list for the early to mid game, you guys can go search it on the channel. These videos are pretty recent. I think it's in the past few days where I talk about Lucius being a really big winner in this patch, because this unit got a lot more power up for the Dream Realm side of things. On top of being a good Dream Realm unit, overall I think Lucius seasonal skill just fits in really well with his kit to do what he wants to do while protecting your team and buffing their damage output in the process. So overall, making a Lucius a really good utility tank after the seasonal changes. So this is the full light barrel comp. Especially good in this setup because 3 of the units that are good against this boss, they are light bearers. So over here, Lucius will serve a pretty good job here for the, I'll say, like the additional factional buff. So here I got 9,862 million, so 9 bill. I think there's a little bit of RNG involved, but this is the team setup, as you guys can see. So Marilee and Corinne still doing amazing damage, especially against this boss. And unfortunately, we got taken out by the boss's AoE damage, sadly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this showcase for the 3 different teams that I run on my 3 different accounts for Necrodrakon. Hopefully you guys managed to learn something to optimize your team comp for Necrodrakon. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!